Welcome back to the Dark Knight Saga. Today we're going to be concluding Dark Knight Strikes Again, and while I know it's not one of the most well-received storylines in the Dark Knight Saga, we did have to cover this so that you know what's going on in this universe and you can watch The Master Race next week. I hope we make it sound epic and pretty cool because we cut out some of the fluff, but hey, I hope you guys enjoy regardless of what your opinion is on the storyline. In our last video, we watched as Lex Luthor and Brainiac worked behind the scenes to control America and repress the costumed heroes to the point of outlawing them. But with Superman under their control, Batman has sought to end Lex's and Brainiac's regime by exposing them and allowing the freeing of the information that they withheld to the public. And for Batman's final step, he pulled back the cowl to reveal himself to the world as Batman and start a revolution. With Batman's announcement, the cities have rallied behind him with costumes ready to fight and take down the government. But while Bruce did that, Shazam, Diana, and Laura continued to fight back Brainiac's robot that he unleashed on Metropolis. Days pass, and Metropolis, once known as the City of Dreams, sits in ruins with a blanket of ash covering it. Diana looks down and tells Shazam that she will go find Superman for him, to allow Billy to turn back into a child for a little while. Shazam coughs, lifting up some of the debris, stating, "I appreciate the thought, but we don't have time to waste. Besides, it was never me turning into Billy Batson. It was more like me and Billy switched places. What people didn't know is that Billy Batson died 8 years ago. So if I were to call out that name, then it would be a one-way trip." Diana asks, "What do you mean by one-way trip? Where would you go?" And Shazam asks, "Where does a dream go when you wake up and you can't remember it? It goes nowhere, and that is where I will go. Without Billy Batson to hold my place on this world. Give everyone my best. It's been nice existing." Diana tells him, "Say it, and let it out with a lion's roar." And with that, Shazam calls out the magical word, Shazam! And after a strike of lightning, Shazam is no more. Weeks now pass, and they scan Metropolis in hopes of finding someone. And as hard as she looks, she knows that there is no one left to rescue. Countless are dead. Metropolis is over, and there are only a few corpses. Through the destruction, Laura sees her father still trying to find something, searching for one last thing to bring him hope. Superman reaches down, pulling out a necklace, and inside its locket is a picture of him and Lois. He looks at it, telling Lois that this is their final goodbye. But while Clark is lost in thought, Laura asks, "Who is Kandor?" That monster that Brainiac just telepathed her, telling her to surrender herself or Kandor dies. So who is Kandor? Superman pauses for a moment, and then he tells Laura to come with him. There are many things that they must talk about. Once the two clear the fog of ash, without a rhyme or reason, Laura asks, "How about sex?" Superman pauses, "Excuse me?" And Laura tells him there are so many things that she'd like to ask him, and her mother keeps telling her that he is the one who can answer them. Since they don't have much time, she figured that she would start asking things as quickly as she can. Superman sighs, and he tells her, "Never with Terrans. They are fragile." Laura starts repeating, "Fragile, puny, stupid. These humans don't know their place." And Superman tells her, "You don't realize the poison in those words. Your mother and me don't command this world, we share it. And at best, we serve it." Laura asks, "Why though? The humans have just made a mess of things. Look at how they're killing their own planet and each other." A voice that asks Superman if he remembers when he said that he was done talking, because he wasn't. Bruce appears behind Superman, telling him, "I had Palmer leave a little something behind when he jumped in your ear. But right now, that is why you can see and hear me." Superman shouts for him to get away, and then he asks, "What is it? What will it take for me to break free of your control? What else do I have left to lose? Honor, dignity, Metropolis, Lois?" And then Bruce stops and thinks, and tells him, "Kandor. It's Kandor, isn't it?" And Superman turns back, telling him, "They stole it when they destroyed my fortress. They're holding the city of Kandor hostage." And Bruce tells him, "Well, looks like we're just gonna have to steal the city back. But I'm gonna lay down some ground rules. Just so that we're on the same page, there are no more debates. We won't be discussing anything. Superman now works for Batman." And then Bruce's finger points to Laura, telling her, "Same goes for her." And Laura shouts, "How dare you!" But before she can strike, Superman stops her, telling her, "Bruce is our only hope. That bastard is our only hope." However, just as Bruce begins to give the orders, he shouts out in pain, telling the two not to worry. It's just a power surge, a wait for his orders. As the hologram fades, Laura listens to Bruce's heartbeat and tells Superman that he's dying. Superman tells her, "Not Bruce. You don't know him like I do. Bruce wouldn't just die like that." We're still on the last run. Back over in Gotham City, Carrie follows a lead on a young girl who seems to know a lot about everything. anything. As she sits in the window, the young girl tells her that it's okay, Carrie, please come in. She asks how, and the girl says that she knows a lot of things. She knows that she was once Robin when she was younger. Carrie tells her that's right. She's been spying the chat rooms, and so far every prediction that she's made is correct. The girl sulks, telling her, you didn't know about Metropolis. And Carrie says that there is nothing that she could have done about it. Superman was caught off guard. But what's with the costume? What would you like to be called? And the girl tells her Saturn Girl. Though that's not her real name, the real Saturn Girl's letting her borrow it since she isn't born yet. Carrie asks, how about it then? Would Saturn Girl like to join their cause? And Saturn Girl shouts, will she? But then she stops. More predictions appear in her mind, ones of Carrie being killed by the Joker. And Carrie asks, what is she seeing? Saturn Girl hesitates and says that bad things will happen. He hates her more than anyone. He makes himself look like Joker, but that's not who he is. Carrie tells her that that's impossible. He's dead. And Saturn Girl tells her, no, he's not. He can't die. And as Carrie leaves, she thinks back on 2 weeks ago when she ran into the Joker in the catacombs. It was after they left the concert and they got Oliver. Oliver said that he killed him once, but here he is. So she shot the Joker with all of Oliver's different arrows, acid, C4, tore him apart piece by piece, even an arrow straight through the head. So he was dead. He has to be dead, right? Over in Siberia at Brainiac's base, Laura makes her way in, announcing to Brainiac that if he is to spare Kandor, she will submit her body and soul to him. Brainiac tells her that that is good. Much more willing than your father. Just let me get things ready to put nanobots into you. She tells him that that is fine, but allow her to see it, allow her to touch the city. As Brainiac's wires connect to Laura, she holds the bottled city, kissing it, shedding a single tear. And in that tear is Ray Palmer. Over with Lex, Lex begins to beat down on Bruce, shouting that he is nothing more than an arrogant rabble-rouser. Bruce thinks to himself that he was caught trying a clumsy break-in. Didn't put up much fight though. He's utterly helpless at Lex's mercy, really. Lex yells that it's over for them. They have nukes orbiting the world. Thermobaric cluster bombs that will split into thousands of drones that will kill everyone. How are we supposed to kill him? How are you supposed to kill me? Bruce tells him, no, that's not my job. I'm just here to make sure that you get killed. Lex continues punching into Bruce, telling him, here it comes. And Bruce shouts, you're right about that. Here it comes. Before Lex could swing again, a green light begins to shine, and Lex tells him, no, 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 no. And Bruce starts laughing, thinking about how he loves the part of his job where he strikes fear into people. The green light begins to cover the globe, and just as everyone asks what it could be, a fist clenches down on the earth. A giant projection of Hal Jordan begins to release his grip, and then he says that he would love to stick around, but he's due back home. Lex screams, you planned this, didn't you? You knew that he was coming and you just sat there. Why? Bruce, now free drinking tea, says, I just needed to distract you while I had other operations in progress, but really, I just had to be here to see the look on your face. Also, heads up, that window's about to explode and you're about to die. Seconds later, the window breaks in and the wings flap as Hawkman and Hawkwoman's son flies in wielding a mace. The heavy metal ball bashes into Lex's skull, and Bruce shouts, way to go, kid. And Barry says, Jesus. Bruce turns back, telling him, get used to it, the youngsters play rough. Back with Laura, she calls out to Brainiac that he can feel it. She warmed her body to the point that his nanobots died. Her trap was sprung. Brainiac laughs, it doesn't matter. It would take 10 of you to even stop me. And Laura asks, oh, wherever will I find 10 of me? Seconds later, Ray's fist breaks through Kandor's glass prison, and soon all of the imprisoned Kryptonians begin to fly out. However, back with Bruce, he begins to return back to the Batcave when he gets a distress call from Carrie. She coughs up blood, stating that they've been hit. It's too late for her to escape, and she loves him. But before the transmission cuts off, there is laughter, insane laughter. Bruce can feel his heart weakening as he pushes himself even harder to go back home. As for Carrie, the more that she cuts into the Joker, the more that he heals. He doesn't die. He can't die, but who is he? Joker leans down, kissing Carrie, stating how Batman loves her so much. It's time for her to be skinned alive. But just then, Bruce tells him, like hell you will. You're gonna die right here and now. Alfred, command, destruct, code, zap, biff, pow. The computer says, very good. And the destruction sequence is engaged. Joker then calls out, command, override, abort sequence, code, kit, numar, Craig. The computer responds back that the code is invalid, and Bruce says, so it is you, Dick Grayson. Dick scoffs, you've always been so smart. And Bruce shouts, yeah, that's why I fired your sorry butt for incompetence. Couldn't cut the mustard, Bucky. Dick then says, you don't know what I've become. I underwent a radical gene therapy. I can't die. And Bruce tells him, sure you can. Bruce shouts to the computer to drop him, and then from under Dick's feet, the floor gives away and he begins to fall below. Ralph Digby reaches in to grab Carrie and pull her out, and Dick shouts, "This isn't over!" as he grabs onto one of the rock ledges. He begins to pull himself back up, and just as Dick gets up, Bruce kicks him back down, and then he swings a hatchet, cutting off his head. Dick's body catches the head, and Dick shouts, "Damn you, I loved you!" And Bruce asks, "So what, you were useless, couldn't cut the mustard?" Dick reattaches his head, telling him, "I would have done anything for you." And Bruce says, "You're breaking my heart. How about we die together?" He then runs, tackling Dick off the ledge to fall into the lava pit below, but then something shoots out. Clark flies out of the pit, holding onto Bruce, asking, "Where to?" A few moments later, the new Batcave begins to explode, and getting away from it is Bruce and Carrie in the last Batmobile. Carrie weakly tells him, "You're losing all of your stuff." And Bruce says, "It's all junk anyway. A robot dinosaur, for goodness sake." Carrie tells him, "Yeah, that giant penny was pretty awesome though, but it's your history." Bruce leans down, telling her, "They're all just souvenirs. Nothing but souvenirs. I was sentimental back when I was old." And there you go. We've concluded Dark Knight Strikes Again with the conclusion of who is the Joker, what is going on with Brainiac and Lex Luthor, what is going on with Superman and his daughter. All of that stuff has been resolved, but that makes it so that next week we can do Dark Knight, The Master Race. I hope you guys are ready for that, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that video next week. And if you're wondering what The Master Race is, that is part 3 to this storyline, which is actually nowhere near as bad as Strikes Again comes out. Trust me, it is a pretty good storyline, and it came out in 2017. It's a brand new chapter to this story. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to check out the whole saga right over here, and you can check out more stuff recommended by YouTube on this side. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you next time.